Hey guys, James here with TCGU University, coming back at you with another deck profile. Today I'm going to be showing you my Spike 1 deck that I played during the most recent Campus Championship, the 7-Hander Showdown, or whatever they decide to quote-unquote name this one. I had a lot of fun playing this deck. It's really, really unique, so let's get into it, guys. Okay, guys, Spike is a Death Life water character with 7 hand size, 24 vitality. E, flip 1 foundation. This tech gets +2 or -2 speed. And then E, if you have more foundations than your opponent, this tech gets +1 or -1 damage. Our deck is not focused around Spike per se as much as it is focused around his ultra rare or his starter edition rare Vengeance of the Fallen Angels. So I'll get into that. I'm going to basically show you at the start what my main combo was and how I chose to kill people. Like the main basis of how I built the deck. It's like it's about 20 cards. Then everything else is just built to support that or make things easier on me or harder on my opponent. So starting off, you always wanted to try and build your Hunt for Spiders into your staging area. Hunt for Spider, I'm going to go ahead and move him aside because he doesn't matter anymore. Hunt for Spiders is a 3/5 with a 3 low block that says that the only ability we really cared about was our flip. After your death or life attack deals damage, you gain 2 vitality or burn your opponent for 2. We almost always wanted to burn our opponent for 2. The other abilities are a card pull. After you play an attack, you get to flip while it's in your card pull, flip it into your staging area to flip one of your opponent's foundations that you just don't want to deal with. Like I said, we kind of wanted to build this into our staging area so that way we can flip it and burn our opponent for 2. You'll see why in a second. I'm going to keep these out so I can talk about the combo a little bit later. Next, we're going to talk about Fatality. Fatality is a card that says your opponent's not allowed to interact with it except when on play, basically. They can cancel abilities, seal it, do stuff like that, but they're not allowed to interact during the attack, which is really what we want. We want to make sure our opponent's not allowed to do things because what we want to do is play this. This card will leave afterwards, so that's why it's important. This card leaves afterwards, but we play it to where, because we want these in our staging area. Ridding the Outworld is I'm going to put these here so we have them. Is a 2/5 with a 3 high block that says E, commit your next attack this turn gets +2/+2, making attack stronger. And then with Fatality on the board, it makes it to where our opponent's not allowed to negate this ability, which is what we want. So we play this, tap all of these as many as we can to give our next attack +X, 2, 4, 6, 8, whatever we have on the board. This leaves and goes to our momentum. We don't care about it anymore. It's gone. These don't matter. We've played their abilities. They're gone. The next thing we do is we want to play our Petrol Powered. This card is off-symboled in our deck. We will never be able to play it during the same turn, on the same build turn as we play everything else in our deck unless it has life on it. But basically, this card is a 2/5 with no block that says if we have 3 or more foundations in our staging area, after we play it, we add it into our staging area. And then respond after this card is added to your staging area, we give our next attack +2 damage. So we give a bunch of damage and speed with this. We give more damage with this. And then we play our Vengeance of the Fallen Angel. Vengeance of the Fallen Angel is a 6/3 with a 1 mid block that has a 4 mid for 6 with Fury and range. The only ability we care about on this card is the Spike First E, which says this attack is unblockable. Players cannot play enhances or attack cards cannot be played for the rest of the turn. Remove this card from the game after it resolves. So we only get to play this attack once, or at least each copy of this attack once. But the way it works is you play this one copy, and the idea is you give it the +X from this. You give it the +X damage you get from this. If you have these in your staging area, you have these. So let's say we have just one of these and we had one of these in hand. Just like base knowledge. You had one of these and let's say you had one Hunt for Spiders in. So this comes in with the 2/2 from this, making this a 6 for 8. Comes with the 2 damage from the Petrol Powered, making it a 6 for 10. So this comes in as an unblockable 6 for 10. They take the 10. You make them take 12. So that's 12 life they weren't allowed to touch. They weren't allowed to stop it. They weren't allowed to do anything. They took 12 damage for free. And then on top of that, we get to play Showdown. I'm going to keep this out here because it's an important card. Keep these out of the way because I don't care. Showdown says it's a 2/4 unique, no block that says that the only ability we care about says R once per turn. After you play an attack, it gets +3 damage. If your opponent is at deadlock, it gets +3 speed. So we basically get to increase the damage attack by 3. So base without anything else, this becomes a 4 for 9 just with Showtime, plus with whatever else we have. It's also the same reason we play one Mass Assassin. It's a 3/6 with a 2 mid block that the only ability we care about says R lose 1 vitality. After an attack is played, it gets +1 or -2 damage. Obviously, we get +1. By itself, it makes this a 4 for a 7. On top of everything else, it just makes it super lethal. And then the last card we're playing that matters to our Vengeance of the Fallen Angel play is for Bang. Bang says, as a 3/4 with a 2 high block, the ability we care about, or after your opponent does not block your attack, they lose 3 vitality and you draw a card. Since your opponent cannot block your unblockable attack, you just get to respond for free with Bang. So just by having these 2 by itself is a 4 for 6. Deal 3 damage, draw a card. Maybe you'll draw a second one. Deal 3 more, draw more cards. Basically, just having one of these is just 9 unblockable damage. On top of everything else, on top of the Mass Assassin, the Showdown, the Petrol, the Ridding, the Hunt for Spiders, any of the extra stuff you have on board. It just creates unblockable damage that your opponent just can't deal with. And then now, we're going to get into the real part of the deck that isn't the combo. We're playing 4 Demon Realm Awakening for defense. It's a 1/5 with a 1 mid block that says, R remove. This deck gets +1 or -1 damage for each keyword it has. And then you get to draw a card. At Deadlock, you get to pick up a copy of this from your discard pile. But mainly, this just says we get to decrease damage and not get hit as hard. Or if we block with it, we can remove it and draw a card as well as just making sure we don't take damage from throws for that ability on top of that. It just keeps our hand size up and our defensive capabilities strong. We're playing 2 Deliverance. Deliverance is a 2/4 with a no block that says E remove, draw 1 card. Super strong if we really need to draw a card and we need a block and not just this ability. The other ability is R remove. Before the damage step of this attack or this unblocked attack, reduce the attack's damage to 4. So when they blow a bunch of damage onto a shotgun and they're trying to one-shot you, you just kind of reduce the damage to 4 and live. That's basically the purpose. You can't use it at anything less than 4 damage at 4 life, but like when they're pumping their shotgun to like 17 and they give it speed and you're not allowed to block it, only taking 4 is pretty cool. Then the last action we're playing is for Coinmas Task. I'm playing a cool cheeky combo that I'll get to right after this, but this is a 3/5 with a 2 mid block. The bottom response says R respond after your opponent plays in an action card, cancel its effects. So you get to cancel things like Toguro Brothers, Revoke. Revoke is one of the key cards that kind of stops our cool unblockable combo. So getting to cancel that's fun. But the main ability that I wanted to play this card for was Form Remove. Name a card, search your deck for all copies of the named card, and add them to your hand. Then name another card, search your opponent's deck for all copies of that named card, and remove them from the game. Only playable if there's a copy of this in your remove from game pile and your discard pile. So you have to have 3 copies in total in play, 1 in your hand, 1 you remove from game, 1 in your discard pile, just to be able to play it, which means there's probably still 1 in your deck. Just being able to do that, it's really hard. But the main purpose was I wanted to pick up the Petrol powers if we need to just spam damage. Pick up more 6 diffs to where I know every single turn I'm going to have one to throw at my opponent. Or if I just really need to, get rid of my opponent's big card. I don't want to have to deal with it. I don't want to have to deal with your Nutcracker, your Missile Launcher. I don't want to. Take it away. Please, take it away. So on to assets. We're playing 1 Swordfish 2. It's a 3/4 with a 3 mid block. We mainly use it for its bottom enhance, for its top enhance. We'll never really use the bottom enhance. We don't care that much for it. But E, add this card to your momentum. Add this attack to its owner's momentum. This basically says we get rid of things like Shotgun, Missile Launcher, Nutcracker. We can't get rid of Cherry Toe, but get rid of the problem cards we don't want to have to deal with. We don't want to have to try and block that Missile Launcher. We don't want to have to try and block that Nutcracker. We don't want you we don't want you stunning me entirely out with your Nutcracker, or I mean with your Missile Launcher. I don't want you drawing a bunch of cards and doing a bunch of cool things with your Nutcracker. Get rid of it. Just get rid of all the problem cards you don't want to have to deal with. We're playing 1 Maness Aeneas. It's a 1/5 with no block. We're mainly using this for the first form that says shuffle as a first form. Just shuffle up to 3 cards from your discard pile into your deck. Most of the problems I found with this deck is you might just check all of your 6 diffs really early in the game and never see them. So I tried to fix that a little bit. We'll get into it a little bit more. So one of the ways I figured out is just shuffle them back into your deck. And this being free, we don't have to commit for it, remove for it, discard momentum. None of that. It's just first form. I'll do this. I'll shuffle these 3 in, and then you have them in there. Or if you want to make sure you're going to check well, shuffle these 3 things in. If you want to see more deliverance, if you checked it, you want to see your Demon Realm Awakenings, just shuffle them into your deck. Then E, commit. Your opponent chooses 1 attack in your discard pile. This attack gains all the enhances on the printed card. That's the only other ability we can really play that I think really matters. But we don't play anything that really matters outside of our combo, so that ability kind of just falls off as well. And then we're playing 1 Acheron and Nirvana. It's a 2/5 with a 2 mid block. I mainly wanted this card for the top ability, which says after your opponent plays a keyword ability, cancel its effects. One of the things I did not want to happen is somebody reversal me. They turn off my fatality and reversal me. They cancel my vengeance and they reversal me. I just didn't want to have to deal with it. I also didn't want to have to deal with people stunning me. I didn't want to have to deal with multiples. I just wanted to turn them off. Just stop it. I don't want to just, no. Then the last asset we're playing is Poison Apple. Poison Apple just kind of extends on top of what we already do for our combo. This is more of like a support card for that combo. It's a 2/5 with a 1 high block, and we mainly use it for its form once per turn. Both players lose 1 vitality. So each turn, I'm just going to slowly put you down one by one until my one-shot Vengeance of the Fallen Angel just kills you. And that was the main purpose of that card. On to the only other attack that's not Fatality and not the Vengeance of the Fallen Angel. Evil Bow. Evil Bow is a 4/2 with a no block. I don't care what its stats are. It's a 3 low for 4 for people who actually do care. But I never used it as an actual attack. I always discarded it and reviewed it. Reversal Weapon. R, remove 1 card from your hand. After you check this card, add 1 other card from your discard pile to your hand. I use this card to pick up my vengeances. Dude, I checked 3 vengeances. Dude, I checked a 2. That's so good. Get rid of this card I don't want. Pick up this vengeance. I have it for next turn. Hopefully you're not within my kill range. Oh, you are? That's pretty sick for me, I guess. The nuts is just trying to force yourself into checking this on like a fatality, or like I'll play petrol, build this down, do this, and just trying to force yourself into the evil bow so you check bad into picking up a vengeance into playing it for the turn. Just a bunch of cool things you could do with it. I never played this attack ever. This attack was only in here to pick up vengeance. The entire deck was built around vengeance, and I have to say it did pretty good. The next card we're playing that assists our combo or supports our combo is 3 Unwittingly Evil. We mainly use this for its bottom ability. It's a 3/4 with a 3 low block. The ability we care about is our flip. After your opponent plays a card, they lose vitality equal to the combined keyword ratings printed on that card. Desperation 4. You can burn for 4. Gauge 5. Burn for 5. Multiple 2. Burn for 2. Are you a missile launcher with EX2 and powerful 4? Go ahead and burn for 6. Do I have multiples of these on board? Go ahead and burn for 6. Burn for 6. Burn for 6. This card's really sick versus decks that like to play a bunch of keywords on their cards. Like if everything says stun X or stun 2, multiple 2, if they all have good keywords, poking your opponent into like just having this on board and then poking your opponent to like 2 or 3 just means they're no longer allowed to play attacks. They are just not allowed to, because if they do, you'll just burn them to death. And it just traps your opponent into a no-win situation. We're playing 1, the Dark Side of Karma. It's a 3/5 with a 1 low block that says R, remove after an enhanced ability is played on a non-character, non-weapon card, cancel it. It also has the ability to flip and return an attack to its printed speed. Each ability is playable while committed, so we don't have to worry about being stunned out. It just says we have some strength against things like Missile Launcher, Nutcracker. We have the ability to cancel some things without just getting super blown out. Then one of my favorite cards that I think performed really well in this deck, 3 Buddhist Devotion. It's a 2/5 with a 2 high block. Breaker 1. First form, destroy. Each player may add up to 2 foundations that they could normally play from their hand to their staging area. You mainly use this to drop in ridding the outworlds, drop in your hunt for spiders. If you needed to, drop in the Unwittingly Evils, drop in more cards to pass checks. That's basically what you used it for. You wanted to use it just to make sure you had everything you needed in your staging area to make sure you one-shot your opponent. Because let me be honest, guys, it's easy to get your Vengeance of the Fallen Angel to about 20 damage, just from just playing the game. Then we're playing 4 Caicos Aden. We block a lot if we're not drawing into the combo, or just in general. If our combo just doesn't one shot, we need 2 shots to do it. Blocking is really what we do. It's a 2/5 with a 3 high block that says after we block, our opponent's next check to play an attack gets +2. It's basically a pseudo breaker that just means our opponent's turn's over, which is all we really want. We want our opponent's turn over so we can try to one-shot them again next turn. Same thing as why we play Maness Aeneas. 3 reporting his failures. It's a 2/5 with a 3 mid block. E remove if you have 1 or fewer attacks in your discard pile, you get to draw 2. I actually got to use this one time. It didn't do a whole lot. Actually, I played this in the other deck and got to use that, and it did do a whole lot. We never really played that. The bottom ability is what we really wanted. E flip, add up to 3 cards from your discard pile to the bottom of your deck. You basically did that to either put more good checks in your deck if you were gonna really need them, or to put your 3 discs back in your deck because you wanted to be able to see them again. Putting them at the bottom never really did anything, but just having the ability to have another chance to pick them up is very much needed. 1 Guardian the Spirit Sword to pick up some of our assets. It's a 2/5 with a 2 high block. We can give negative speed to weapons and non-weapons, and then we can discard cards to pick up assets. Our assets have some pretty good blocks, from a 3 mid to a 2 mid to a 1 high. They're not terrible. The 1 high is especially good if we ever needed a 1 high. I never got around to playing this card, so I'm not too worried about the strength of that card. It filled its purpose for what I needed for blocking. 1 Edenian Royalty. Edenian Royalty, in my opinion, is very underrated right now. It's a 2/5 with no block, but it says E destroy. Your opponent's next attack this turn gains flash. A lot of our attacks are built on this, at least this meta-wise, is built on having 1 good attack that just debilitates your opponent for a turn, and then getting some poke damage in, or having that 1 attack kill them. So this either makes that 1 attack that debilitates your turn, and then you get pokes in, and it kind of just turns that off, as well as just turning off the entire kill turn sometimes, just because they can't deal with not being able to do things on their next attack. We played 1 Lonely. We do play 2 checks, so I wanted to have this as an ability that kind of supports our combo, but as well supports our defense against our own 2 checks. It's a 2/5 with a no block that says form commit. If this is the only foundation in our staging area, we get to add the top 2 cards of our deck to our staging area face down. Kind of protects us from checking bad on our first turn. And then R, after your opponent would play an ability that would commit 1 or more of your foundations, they lose a vitality. It kind of kind of like shoves stun off of our attention. You don't want to stun us because I'm just going to make you burn. And the closer you are to your desperation, the easier it is for me to kill you. The less life you have, the less I have to work, which is just crazy. We're playing 2 Demanding Submission. It's a 2/4 with a no block that also supports our combo. R destroy after your opponent plays a keyword ability, cancels effects. If that keyword ability has a rating, your opponent loses vitality equal to that rating. Don't gauge, I'm going to burn you. Don't multiple, I'm going to burn you. Don't powerful, don't EX, don't stun. I'm going to cancel it and burn you. It just sort of just puts our opponent at a halt till they figure out how to deal with it. We're playing 2 Prideful Personality. It's a 2/5 with a 2 mid block. We mainly play this to try and like shuffle our hand out, try and like mix up our hand, try to get good blocks, try to draw into what we need. Being able to just discard 2 cards we don't want and try to draw 2 cards we may need is just a super strong card, and it's one of the only main cards played from those demo decks in general. 3 Diplomatic. It's a 1/4 with a 3 mid block. E commit, your attack is +1 speed. We'll never use it. R check a 5. After your opponent removes any number of cards from their card pool, they lose 2 vitality. This was mainly put in here to slow down combo decks, as well as just kind of let us build easy on turn 1. The more cards we built on turn 1, the easier it was to swing Vengeance on turn 2, which was kind of the point. We wanted to slow down combo decks that like moved cards from their card pool, as well as kind of like speed up our turn 2s, which is, I think it worked very well. We're playing 3 Fueling Up. It's a 1/5 no block R flip after your opponent plays in a non-character ability that would reduce the damage of your attack, cancel its effects, and they lose 2. So it supports our combo, as well as it protects us from a Deliverance. Another thing that would stop our combo is Deliverance, and this is a card that stops that. Just stops damage reduction in general. We just don't want to have to deal with it. We're playing 3 Demon Hide. It's a 1/5 with the 2 high block. R flip, after an attack is played, it loses gauge and cannot gain keywords. One of the main reasons we're playing this is we don't want to get coffee samba'd. We don't want you to give something stun. We don't want you to give it multiple. We don't want you to give it anything. We don't want to have to deal with it. Stop doing the thing your deck does. We don't want to deal with it. One of the reasons I really kept putting, I didn't have to put this in the deck. I chose to was because before recently, one of the cards that swam around that stopped this combo was High Seas Adventure. High Seas said respond, give this attack flash. We already kind of did that, but we can't make it unblockable if they give it flash immediately. And this kind of just lets us surpass that. We play our attack, we make it to where it can't gain keywords, and then they can't give it flash. But that doesn't exist in our meta, so we don't have to worry about it now. Then our last card, 3 UniVersus Nether Realm. It's a 1/5 with a 3 high block. E flip, lose 3 vitality, draw a card. We mainly do this because sometimes you kind of just have to draw into the combo or you die, and sometimes you just know that. As well as just having the ability to draw more cards on defense. Staying alive and trying to draw into more kill turns is the main purpose of this card. So should always be in the deck. Thanks again for checking out the profile, guys. If you liked my Spike 1 deck, let me know down below. If you have some ideas for things that could improve the deck, your opinions on it, make sure to let me know. I'd love to read your guys' comments. If you want to support us, go to patreon.com/TCGUniversity. If you want to check out other videos, go to youtube.com/TCGUniversity as well. Make sure to leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. You know, all the cool stuff. You can check us out on Facebook as well at TCG University. And as always, guys, stay learned.